conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, good Monday, everyone. It is Dom time. Filled up. We haven't had a chance to break down that stunning... What was it that Brit Hume said about Vice President Harris, that interview on Channel 6? She filled up the time. She ran out the clock with her essential emptiness. That's the best she can do to avoid questions. But, of course, the lead story today, and we have you covered, is the aftermath of the second assassination attempt on President Trump. And no, the Secret Service did not do well. And I know it's kind of rhetoric, but the Secret Service has to be made to protect this president. You know what I mean by that. They have to stop their clownish, and they are, protocols and nonsense. Stop it. He is the person who is threatened the most out there. That means all your inside baseball of Secret Service protocol sucks. And you have to stop it and give him full protection. He did not have, they were lucky yesterday. And even then, it took a concerned citizen who photographed the license plate to catch this maniac. And it's pretty clear to me, this was political. The other guy, I'm balanced on this. In Butler, I don't see it was political essentially toward Trump. That maniac wanted to kill a president, and he thinks somehow or another be glorified for it. This one, it's very clear, wanted to kill Trump. What do you mean? They're a hole ahead of him and they happen to see a rifle through the shrubbery. What about getting local law enforcement on every side of that? What about infrareds? What about drones? What about all? Well, he's not a president. We're not going to do that. And it appears no one can make him. And the media certainly is not going to make them do it. We're still waiting on the first one, because they have their 60 days to report and they're lawyered up. If you're in the Secret Service, you can't lawyer up. You got to fess up. The nonsense that goes on with this agency, we have to win the presidency, win the Senate, win the House, and take this whole organization out. They're as bad as the FBI. They're still going to stand up there and say they're nonsense. And by the way, how much information have we got from the Fed? Several cops told me that over the weekend. If not for these sheriffs in Florida, we wouldn't know anything, and they tell us you're not going to know anything. It's ongoing, and move on now. What Trump has to do in his second term, better than the first term, is not just have the instincts to go after the swamp and the uniparty. It's to drill down, put people in who breathe this living night and day and take them on. That's what the Secret Service needs. It's outrageous to see this again. If you differ and think, oh my God, and I praise the Secret Service agent who opened fire, he'd probably be in trouble. That's probably another protocol they have. This is just an example, a little aside too, of how because of lowering standards, DEI, and a God knows what else, how even in a STEAM group, the Secret Service has gone downhill. President Biden saying they need more help. They have the resources. If it's a few million more here and there, well, then spend that. I think we're all in agreement with it, but I don't think it's that. It's their protocols. He's not president. They're not going to protect him in the manner they would protect a president, even though the threat is incredible. They refuse to realize what it would mean to the country. You can just imagine if Trump is the worst. All right. Here's one of those sheriffs. Here is the sheriff that I talked about, the first sheriff, talking about the idea of what we know and how this happened. The idea that this is something where they're just not having enough forces to do the right thing here. This is cut 17, Jim.
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery. So when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right. And at this level that he is at right now, he's not the city president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. But because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So I would imagine that the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter. But the Secret Service did exactly what they should have done. They provided exactly what the protection should have been, and their agent did a fantastic job.
All right. The first part, I agree. This sheriff can go to hell, too. All right, in the second part. Straight there. They did exactly what did you hear what he said, too? What they deem possible. The Secret Service is not supposed to be deeming stuff possible. They're supposed to be all out. No, we deem this possible. They're protocols again. This is one of the biggest targets, if not the biggest. I'm sure Abraham Lincoln, Civil War. I'm trying to think of some others. This is the biggest target with the most consequence, arguably, let's put it that way, in American history. And they're deeming what's possible and what's not possible. Can somebody drag them in there again, not tomorrow, today, and ask them, what's this language mean? What do you mean deem possible? Is it you don't have enough money, you don't have enough resources, or you're not going to put the resources there? Because on your little chart and your little protocols, Trump does not come up to that. This is a mentality that if it existed before, I didn't know about in the Secret Service, that is completely unacceptable. The job is to protect these people. Well, we deem this possible, and we deem that not possible because they're in that category. You know what? It seems to me we need, I'm not sure if it's the president, it's the executive branch in the future, got to take over for the Secret Service. It's rotten to the core, and I'm not saying they're intentionally doing that. They're bureaucrats. We deem it possible. Is that what we want, what they deem possible, and we'll roll the dice for the rest of it? Now, the other part that came out of this, and Henry, do you have that CNN woman yet? Let me know when you do. Okay, we'll play you former Homeland Security, I think under Obama, saying that, oh, this is bad, and the Trump people are going to make this political. They're going to try to use it with voters. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, I'm not going to shut up for 50 days. It is political. We are going to use it. Absolutely. Well, you can't do that. Oh, really? What are you going to do about it? Of course it's political. If you get shot at once, almost killed, and the second time you're just playing a round of golf, and you got a maniac in the shrubbery, and they don't notice it till the gun pokes out, yeah, I think it's something that the American people recognize your courage for. Here is the former Homeland Security during the Obama years telling us, oh, the worst of this. This is going to be used politically.
I really, I don't care what you feel about him or Harris. I mean, this is the expectation that he will be safe, and the reason why this is, in some ways, you said how close the election is. The problem is this is a safety issue that is being thrown into a very intense political environment in which the very fact of an assassination, a constitutional moment, because it could have impacted voters, will be used for political purposes, and that to me is just exceptionally unfortunate, because whatever your beliefs are, we do deserve to have campaigns that are not where violence isn't being used as either a sword or a shield.
We are going to make it political because it is political. Everything's political. That's obvious. But what's also political is the Secret Service is an example of where we come in America, where failure's not an option. It's the new motto, what they deem possible. Wow. What they deem possible. Well, we're, saying there's a small margin of error here that you might get shot under our watch. That we might let a guy in the shrubbery. I mean to say they just can't tell local law enforcement, protect the whole golf course on the perimeter. Drones, infrared, we don't deem that possible. We don't feel like doing that here. When you think you would be embarrassed after the first attempt and the second attempt, just a guy in the shrubbery, just some maniac who crawls with this stuff. And it is political. He wanted to shoot Trump. I'm not sure if it's a combination. He didn't like what Trump did in Ukraine, where he was volunteering and they wouldn't take him there. He talked about MAGA as masters and slaves and all this stuff on social media. He crawls with it. And one of the ways you can tell this is political is this wasn't a guy wanting to go out in a blaze of glory. After he was shot at, he fled, didn't think he'd be caught. That's a tell. That's a tell that he wanted explicitly to kill Trump. Ideologically, whatever he thought would happen with the election. That's what it's about.
He had main character syndrome.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Define that, but I know.
Oh, he thinks he's the protagonist of the world. It's his show.
Yeah, exactly. This guy is traveling the world wanting to be a main player.
Yeah.
And even in Ukraine, to put him on the front lines, they rejected him. My God. Yep, exactly right. But he wants to take out Trump, not just anybody. He wasn't stalking Biden. He's got a long criminal history. Just outrageous. But even over the weekend on MSNBC, Jim, this is cut 12. Here's one guest saying that, yes, Donald Trump, this is at the core of it, is exactly Hitler and Benito Mussolini. That's why we have to take him out. And the people that do this believe that they will be recognized someday as heroic. And face it, any number of progressives would say, yeah, they are heroic. See, I'm not one that thinks they're just doing that Hitler thing just to do it politically. The craftier ones, like a Schumer or somebody like that, they may be. But a lot of them have convinced themselves, you got to stop this guy, whatever it takes. We just can't have this. It will be the end of the country. All right, here is the MSNBC guest laying that out.
Dr. Jackie, Reverend Dr. Jackie, give me your response to what Donald Trump is doing.
It is outrageous. It's horrifying, but it's expected from a fascist authoritarian person who wants to create havoc in this country, who wants to take us to Nazi Germany. I can't even talk Nazi Germany. We exported racism, fascism to Nazi Germany. We exported it to South Africa, Jonathan. We know how to do it. We're good at it. And let's not pretend that Donald Trump isn't exactly like Mussolini, exactly like Hitler. He is that guy. And I want to pick up where Tara was for just a second and say something to the American people. Mm-hmm. I live in a neighborhood, Jonathan. You and I both have white partners. I live in a neighborhood, a nice mixed neighborhood with all kinds of people, including Republican people, who are nice people, who shovel your grass, who care about the neighborhood, who care about the world, right? Y'all, you nice people don't want this guy just because your economy worked better for 5 minutes under his regime. You nice Christian, kind, loving, Jewish people, faithful people, you don't want this guy. We're not these people. We're not these people. And we're not going to get what we want if we elect this fascist, authoritarian weasel.
All right, there we go. Even in the middle of this, that's what we're seeing. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all that we need to do is just push pound 1210 and you'll get on board. So I think what the Secret Service is essentially saying is we're going to continue with this level of protection. Biden administration isn't going to do anything about that. You mean to say with all the bureaucrats, with all the stuff that's there, there's no mechanism even the House can at least make them think about using to punish them and stop this? And if elected, that's going to be one of the first orders of business. This cannot go on. They cannot make this decision. Well, you're not the expert. Yeah, we are the experts. We know what the consequences. We know how big of a target Trump is here. This guy I just saw on Fox, the suspect spent nearly 12 hours hanging around or near the golf course. 12 hours. Where's the level of, hey, what's that guy doing there? What are you doing there? We don't deem that possible to be looking at that. Yeah, it's not our job. That's asking too much. So is that too much for the American public to say, look at the consequences? We don't want that. That they are going to say, based on protocol, they determine that this is the way that it should go. And that's it. 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All that you need to do is just push pound 1210. All right, let me give you the side question today. 40th anniversary of Miami Vice. Miami Vice around this day, started a TV show that broke out, but a large part of it was the location. Miami Beach, that vibe, as much as any show that we've seen. So we're looking for either a TV show or a film. And you got to connect the dots on it, where location is almost a character. It's almost that human, that the location matters so much. I'll take off the board The Wire, and I would argue Breaking Bad, what they did with the desert, the various around Albuquerque, that was a character. That was something they bled into it, that they almost shouted out, hey, are you seeing this is a character in what we're doing here? So it's The Wire and Breaking Bad. Henry, do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, sticking to that vein, I mean, another obvious one that should take off the board is one of the all-time classics in The Sopranos. I mean, that whole opening sequence, the opening title sequence, it takes you all from New York through North Jersey all the way to his house in North Caldwell.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think, a show like that, as gritty as it is, North Jersey, very representative in that. Got to take it off the board.
Yeah, New York, they only tangentially. They call it the city. Occasionally, it's North Jersey more that they're focusing in on than New York, which is, a lot of things focusing on New York. It's North Jersey's the backdrop. Okay, that's the side question, 855-839-1210. You get on board, and should the Secret Service, should anybody say to them, what you're doing sucks? This is wrong. We don't care about your protocol. Well, we're the experts. Who are you to tell us this? It's obvious. It's obvious you've lost your way. I'm not even saying you want to do this to Trump. I'm saying, nope. Your protocols have nothing to do. You can't protect him. That's what this tells me. The guy was hanging around the golf course for 12 hours. Somewhere in the vicinity or around. Don't you have advanced people? We don't deem that necessary for this. What has to happen here? You can just imagine that consequence. Now we'll see, because I hope politically we see another bump for Trump. We're starting to see some of the polling from the debate, and it helped to solidify Harris a bit, but she really hasn't gained here in any noticeable way that I can see. Now, we're going to see over the next few days, and what the media is going to do is move off this as quickly as possible, go back to Springfield, Ohio, the animal story. That's their mission. That's where they're going. All right, 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you need to do is just push pound 1210. Your calls are next on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Sarah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Nick.
Thank you so much for the cookies. Doctor, if you want to narrate, I'm going to take a bite.
Get a cookie.
Trump 2024, baby. And by the way, the Kamala ones that are blue that nobody wants to buy, they taste the same. It's just different color. Very good cookie. I'm going to go, because there's no perfect score. It's like figure skating, right? You can't give it a 10 out of 10. 8.7.
Wow.
Very good cookie. Good. So there you go. I'm going to swallow the rest of this cookie and we'll take some calls. Let somebody else talk for a little bit.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, Clementon. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. You got the side question. Hit us with that TV show or film that uses the location as a character almost. All right, that's what we're looking for. Now, this Secret Service stuff, even after the first attempt, I'm reading the coverage of USA Today, more anti-Trump stuff. They were able to prevent this due to the elevated support they had for the president. Just think about it. We've come to this point where our expectation of the Secret Service is that this nutbag by himself, hanging around for 12 hours at the course. How did he know Trump would be playing there? He might have thought he plays on Sunday. Maybe that's a guess. Gets in the shrubbery, and that's it. Oh, well, shrubbery. What are we going to do? We're only the Secret Service. 12 hours hanging around there. And there's no, sniffing around, no sense of anything to keep this zone free of something like this. It ought to shock people, but they're arrogant. They're arrogant, and they're saying they're going to do what they want because the party in power is not exactly crazed over stopping this. Does Trump have to hire people? Now, this would cause a real conflict to patrol the bushes and the perimeter. Is that what he has to do? Is that what you want, Secret Service? If you don't have enough resources, you don't have enough people. But they're not saying that. What they're saying is what you're the sheriff, what they deem possible. Again, he's not a president of the United States or a vice president. I mean, I think Dr. Jill Biden, the whole world's going to be tied up tonight. I'm not sure Biden himself is coming to the Eagles game. I know that she is, to make another grand finale here, as if anyone wants her here. They'll tie up the world. So the threat is not what it is. It's just your pieces of paper and your flow charts. That's what the Secret Service is saying here. Is there a bigger threat? Have we seen anything like this? The answer is no. And in the wake of this, I mean, I don't think Vegas would give odds, but after two this close together, you got to think this is making other people seriously consider. They're not deterred by the Secret Service here. I'm wondering even if the agent that shot at this, allegedly, will not be reprimanded. You know, they sees the rifle sticking through the fence. They think one hole enough, and a guy hanging around for 12 hours. So I don't know that there's a breach of knowing where Trump is, other than this is the course he plays. The guy just hung around forever. So if it were 12 hours, I'm kind of thinking this guy's out there overnight. You mean to say they can't call on local law enforcement to have somebody riding up and down, to have some out there as a deterrent on the perimeter? No, they just chose they're not going to do it. That's what they're telling us. You saw the testimony. The second guy was even worse than the woman that testified. They're out of control. And it's another reason why we have to win. We have to stop groups like the leadership, the bureaucracy at least, of the Secret Service. You're not the expert on this. You mean your expertise says if that guy got a shot off, well, he gets a shot off. Can't prevent everything. Wow. That's essentially how I see this. This is even worse than some of the stuff we've seen before. This is clear malfeasance. But they're protected by saying they're the experts. You're not. I'm so tired of hearing that stuff when it's a common sense thing. You're determining you're not going to do it. He's not of that level. And you're basing it on just he's not currently in office. You're not basing it on the threat. You're not basing it on what this would mean to America. Doesn't that count for something? Let's go to Michael. He's in Wilmington on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Michael, afternoon.
Good afternoon. There are kind of three things that jump out at me watching the coverage yesterday, and people talk about what a success was capturing the guy. First, we know that the Secret Service sees the shooter, apparently fires on him, and misses him. So that's a fail, right? Should have been taken out or at least severely injured. So they miss him, number one. Number two, only purely by chance is there a citizen who sees him get in and actually has his phone and takes a picture of the license plate. And the guy's captured not nearby, but between 40 minutes and an hour away.
Right.
So if the guy had the next attempted shooter will probably say, you know what, I'll use a stolen vehicle or I'll switch cars, unlike the last idiot. If he had switched cars or used a stolen vehicle, he'd be gone. And we'd have no idea who he was or where he came from. And then, so when people talk about this as being a success, it was another unmitigated failure covered up by two lucky scenarios. One, he didn't get a shot off. I heard an interesting comment about why golf courses are good targets, because you'll know that someone has to be on the tee and they have to be on the green, and usually those are closely, proximate. So if someone's looking for a target location, the guy golfs. Time Magazine 4 days ago has a picture of him in the golf. It doesn't take a lot to figure that out. Hey, if he's going to play golf, we'll probably play golf there. And I'll get a target. You can go to any clubhouse and get a map of the course or go online and say, okay, there's the tee and there's the fair and there's the green, and that's my target zone. How do I park for that? It's not that complicated.
Right. But to hang around for 12 hours, imagine, before the shooting.
Right. And you'd think what I just said, I'm no genius. I'm just a regular person. Secret Service obviously would have people who would have said, okay, how do we protect the golf course? Especially, what are the vantage points on greens and tees? Because every golfer has to go to those two, whatever they do on the hole,
exactly.
They have to go to the places. And where are the vantage points on those? And are we going to pre-clear the course before he goes out there? And obviously they didn't do it again. And then who knows what the excuse is, but it's not that complicated. If the guy had not had someone there take a picture of his car, he would have gotten away. And why did the Secret Service miss on the shot? No one says anything about that. And then, we're all saying, it's Trump's fault, the rhetoric and all that. People clearly know, if you look at the guy's social media, he's clearly primed by CNN and MSDNC, who make the case that he's an existential threat. And there are enough nutcases out there in the world that are going to view themselves as heroes.
Exactly. Thank you. Right. But this is different than the guy on the rooftop. That one, I don't know that he was targeting Trump. It was a target of opportunity. This one, it's targeting Trump. As far as not hitting him, in fairness there, you got the fence and you got the shrubbery. That should be looked at too. But he's right. Those are the two things as a golfer that you're going to be doing. Every hole, you're going to be on the tee, and then you're going to be on the green. How you get there in between, you could be 100 yards any different way. I'm still amazed that he's hanging around 12 hours. And they're not asking local law enforcement to take. This isn't a complicated scenario here, that's that intense. No, they are sticking to the fact that we determine all this stuff, not you. That's the part, the arrogance, the protocols, their protocols. Do we have to be, to Michael's point, do we have to be geniuses here? No, we don't. They're not geniuses either. This is a bureaucratic thing. Maybe some of it is filtered by the fact that the leadership doesn't like Trump. Who knows? Even worse, it could be just filtered by the fact that we're going to do what we want. I'd love to see this testimony. They got to call them in soon. This is even more than the last time. That arrogant guy who's the acting now. Well, we deem this possible. What do you mean you deem this? Spit it out. Do you actually need more money, more resources? We ought to be doing that today. They don't seem to be saying that. They're saying this is the level he, quote, deserves. Think about that. How do they just shock people? And I'm not even saying it's conspiratorial. I'm sure deep down in recesses has something to do with Trump. But it has to do with arrogance. It has to do with the fact that they've been screwing up for quite a while. This agency is not what we were led to believe. The woman that was in charge over the weekend, I won't play it. We had Josh Hawley on. The woman that was in charge in Butler, according to Hawley and his whistleblowers, had failed 2 recent performance tests for the Secret Service and yet is in charge. This is what they are. And mixed in is this arrogance. That sheriff covering up for them, saying that's what they deem possible. That's what they told us. What would it take for local law enforcement, for drones, for infrared to be used? And that's the thing today that we ought to be looking at. Who in America can make them do the right thing? And the answer is apparently no one at this point. Now, I got to believe Congress has some power in some way, shape, or form. I'm talking about even if it's just annoying to them. They ought to subpoena them. They ought to subpoena them and bring them in to testify every day then. Just go after them, the head of this organization. Just do that at least. Get him on the record till we get to the bottom of this. Can they withhold money from them? Well, we hear from the other side, well, that will do exactly what you seem to not want. They won't give more protection. How do we get to a point where this life and death, and it's not just life and death of Trump, it's what this would do to the country. Now, Scott Presler is coming on today at 1:30. He's got exciting news of what's happening here in Pennsylvania. But in addition to that, he's got a lot to say about this, how he believes his volunteers are energized. You see what the stakes are here. They're even higher than we can imagine. So bring them in. For once, clarify something. Are you saying you don't have enough personnel? I think they're going to say, no, we're not saying that. All right, side question 2. Hit us with a place that's almost like a location. Think TV or a film. I'd be interested in hearing film throughout the show, too, so that we get one where it's a major player. 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A tropical system will bring clouds and some showers to the Delaware Valley this week. Today, partly sunny, a bit cooler with a high of around 79. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 64. And for Tuesday, still dry, mostly cloudy, a little bit more humid with a high 79.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This school year, get your child or grandchild the help they need to succeed. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and help your child have an outstanding year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@metc.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Do you have shoeboxes full of photos? Today only, radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or Grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever, overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Due at inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees, but in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Tonight, 7:40 Phillies Brewers game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT tonight.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Dr. Giordano Show. Welcome in. You got the side question and more details coming out by the moment on the alleged shooter of the Secret Service. Here is, and I've been on this show this weekend, MSNBC show with Alex Witt, asking, well, will the Trump campaign tone down their rhetoric? I mean, they've been shot at or once, and they could have been shot at twice. Don't you think that should send them a message to tone down your rhetoric? Here's how it sounded.
Do you expect there to be calls from within the Trump campaign to do that? Because he's going to reach out to his supporters and say, let's take this down. We do not know, again, the source of any gunshot or gunshots. We don't know who's responsible for this. The whole thing has yet to be 100% confirmed from start to finish how this all played out. But do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence, or would that be atypical of the former president?
Well, Alex, remember back to the assassination attempt on President Trump's life and how, there was talk of a new tone, and then the Republican convention was, by Trumpian standards, muted. And it did seem like he was, just trying to take it down a few notches. But then by the end of his convention speech, we were kind of back to where we started. So I don't know how long this could, this moment of unity for the country where we come together and we say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. It's not okay, any threat of violence, we don't want. I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it's probably going to be pretty fleeting, as we've seen in the past.
Ladies, the elephant in the room, clowns. Democrats did not stop instantly after being shot in the ear. They kept on with the Hitler talk. Don't you get it? This is an obvious thing.
We just played a clip from MSNBC of
over
a woman
the weekend
calling him Hitler.
Yes, and Mussolini, and they go back and forth with Hitler. We got the newsreader, that Sarah Haynes. They don't have to pull it, Henry. It's too dopey. On The View saying, well, maybe we need to do something around the First Amendment. Hate speech is the last thing right before violence. Think about what the ladies on The View, these dopes, have called Trump. Think about how much they incite that. I'll give you a name, Claire McCaskill, who is so esteemed on the Morning Joes of the world. She calls him Hitler more than anybody else. So if you keep on doing that, this is at a level that's different. Nobody's been called this before consistently in this manner. It's one thing to say they'd be an awful president. You can lie all that you want about X, Y, or Z, what they would do. That's politics. It's quite another to keep on with the Hitler, even more than they get tired of Mussolini. Fascists, they get tired of that. They go right to Hitler. And they will go to Hitler within the week. They're not going to stop with that. That's one of the biggest plays. Dobbs and democracy. Remember? Josh Shapiro, all over national TV yet. He's on a bus tour, the reproductive rights bus tour. Can you imagine? It's an endless thing. I'll play you a little bit later on. At 1 o'clock hour, we'll start. The interview that Vice President Harris did. I know the person interviewed him, good guy, and he asked reasonable questions. I don't know if a follow-up was not allowed. Just move on to the next question. But she didn't even take a passing glance at answering it. And I don't think it's just because she's cunning. I just think this was her first interview alone. It was a layup question, but she has no answer. She's empty. And that is, well, how are you going to get a handle on inflation? I thought she might ask, well, we already have. The rate of inflation is going down. Then there might have been a follow-up saying, Well, yeah, but the inflation that's baked in, how are we going to unbake it, so to speak? It's among her most awful moments. Walz asked the similar question. He's on a tour, too, with the local, TV, not all ABC. I think this was in Michigan. He says, well, it's climate. Climate's driving it. If we just get a handle on that, inflation won't be so bad. Lester Holt will play you, saying the same thing these dunces just said about, is Trump going to turn down his rhetoric? When is that going to happen? 855-839-1210. I think at the heart of it, though, too, is that they're not going to stop that. That's the card they have. That's what they're going to play. That we just seem to be powerless to protect Trump here. And I'm not even saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying we're letting the Secret Service say we're going to do whatever the hell we want. This is a glaring example of people in Washington that have to be brought to heel. And no, I'm not going to be backed off by saying, well, they're the expert. You can only back us off so far with the expert this and that and the other. No, you're not on this. You're making a call. It's not an expertise. Well, we only have X. What do you expect us to do? It's they won't budge away from the designation. Even if they had all the resources in the world, I think they were saying, we're not going to do that. You know what that would do to our flow charts here? Oh, my God. Everybody be getting this. So I'm arguing the Secret Service is not assessing the threat level that's unparalleled and the damage it would do to the country. They're just saying pretty much someone like Dr. Jill Biden, well, she gets this level of service, and Trump's not in office. This happened before. Now, are there other things built into that? Who knows? There's going to be a report out this week, exactly what they did in Butler. We're going to see where that leads. By the way, the wife of former White House staffer, Vindman, who's running for some office, his wife, she tweets out in the middle of this, what's the big deal? No ears were harmed. Keep a list, every single one of them. Go up and down the line. Get elected, then take care of business here. And the Secret Service got to be up there near the top. How in the world can they, in the middle of this, not be a calming force to say, yeah, we looked at everything here, and we need more. We're going to put more personnel into this. We're going to do other things here. They're not going to do it. They're rolling the dice. And it's not just Trump's life. What would they do if Trump says, well, I'm going to hire private security, Pinkertons, call them what you will. I'm going to have them on the perimeter. I'm going to have them doing X, Y, and Z. Since you won't go into the shrubbery, I'm going to put some landscapers out there. But you can't do that. We're the Secret Service. They want to tell you what you can't do, but they won't do what they should do. Is there any doubt at how bad this is? Now, we had Don Trump Jr., and he and Eric Trump was on. They said the same thing, and no one was pushing him around to do it. That the agents they interacted with were great, but they see what the direction is. And not only that, it fuels the idea, well, they want something to happen to Trump. That idea becomes more apparent. I'm more in the camp. I'm open to it. Some of them there. I'm more in the camp that they're going to do what they want. Now, if this were somebody else other than Trump, would they relent? Yeah, I think they might. They're just telling you, no, we're going to keep it this level. Is anybody asking them that? Can you ever get an answer from these people? All I could say is, my advice to Jim Jordan, he comes back on others, subpoena them, bring them in again. Bring them in 20 times. Just do it every day. Oh, you're browbeating them. They put their life on the line here and all. We're talking about the leadership. Bring them in. All right, more of your calls coming. I'm coming to you on the side question, too. 855-839-1210.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Sarah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Nick.
Thank you so much for the cookies. Doctor, if you want to narrate, I'm going to take a bite.
Get a cookie.
Trump 2024, baby. And by the way, the Kamala ones that are blue that nobody wants to buy, they taste the same. It's just different color. Very good cookie. I'm going to go, because there's no perfect score. It's like figure skating, right? You can't give it a 10 out of 10. 8.7.
Wow.
Very good cookie. Good. So there you go. I'm going to swallow the rest of this cookie and we'll take some calls. Let somebody else talk for a little bit.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Navien tankless water heaters, the proven leader in condensing technology. Request a Navien because you deserve the best in endless hot water delivery. Learn about Navien's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navien contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Count on Navien. Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Right now might be the best time ever to upgrade your old, inefficient water heater to a state-of-the-art Bradford White Aerotherm heat pump water heater. It's eco-friendly, Energy Star certified for high efficiency, and will help lower your energy bills. Rebates and tax credits are now available that could save you thousands of dollars. How you heat your water matters. So ask your plumbing professional about the Bradford White Aerotherm heat pump water heater, or visit bradfordwhite.com to learn more.
With NJ Diet, you can lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. They have customers that have lost 37 pounds, 100 pounds, and over 120 pounds, and they've kept it off. You'll have more energy, and you'll probably see better lab results. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to provide you personalized natural formulas and supplements so you can lose the weight, and DNA testing will help you keep it off. Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. Go to njdiet.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. It was funny and like great band. His imitation of the Bee Gees.
The stylistics and stuff, I just love that.
Oh, it was great. This is the third time we've seen him. He's awesome.
I can relate to Joe Conklin. Great variety. There was something for everyone.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. Welcome in. Got the side question, the main course today, the aftermath of the second assassination attempt. And I just see local law enforcement, all these guys apprehending the guy. All it would take is to have a guy walking up and down the golf course, pretend like he's chipping or practices putting. This guy's here 12 hours. Yo, what are you doing here? This guy will run, then you get him then. Is it complicated? We deem that not to be possible. That's the Secret Service. Both Trumps that I've had on, Don Jr., behind the scenes and in person this week, spoke highly of the people willing to put their lives on the line, etc. It's the attitude, though, that they're deciding. This is what I'm writing about, and I'm saying to you. They're deciding they're not going to see this as an existential threat, people coming out of the woodwork to get Trump because of all this rhetoric, etc. And they're going to do what they're going to do. And they're telling you there's nothing you're going to do about it. during this period of time. Whatever happens, that happens. So what are they going to do? If you were Trump, would you say, I'm hiring private security on the perimeter then? That's what we're going to do. Can't do that. My God, the Secret Service? You don't trust them? Well, right here, their game plan, I don't trust. This is not, we're a hole ahead here when you're playing golf. We had a great caller, a guy from Wilmington, who called and said, yeah, a shooter can stake out. They know on any hole, and they look for the best one. What is a vantage point? And many times you would have two areas because the tee on the next hole often is not too far, depending, from the green. Particularly maybe if it's a par 3, something like that. It's like a little curve and goes off in another direction, but you're within the sight of a shooter. So they have 2 times to fire away at you. Putting, when everybody's just standing on the green forever, then on the tee. It's a simple thing. Let me see. John in Roxbury. John, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, John, welcome in.
Hey, Dom, how's it going?
Good.
Good to be with you.
Thanks, John.
Listen, there's a lot of talk about, Trump wasn't even supposed to be there. It was a last-minute decision. But somebody's got to be feeding information out. I mean, I try not to be a conspiracy theorist.
Well, let me give you an alternative for that. I mean, not dismissing it, John. It's rational given what we've seen. But Trump routinely plays there, and if he's playing there, he's going to play on Sunday. Do you know that Fox just reported he was there around that area for 12 hours? See what I'm saying? He was taking a gamble and staking it out that Trump might be coming. At 12 hours he was hanging around.
Right. It's. I mean, all of it just doesn't add up. I mean, it can't. The Secret Service can't be that incompetent.
No,
it just don't make any sense.
No, they are this arrogant, though, John. That's the point. Anybody in the world knows you don't just have protection around a president, but when he's golfing, you can't take up every line of sight. You're not going to be there like the caddy when Trump's putting. So you have to have people on the perimeter that walk up and down, or at least have a post, so no one can come up to the fence and fire at them. Yeah.
Dom, I was thinking while I was on hold. I drive the city all the time. And there could be construction on any block. And you know what's with that construction on every block? Usually a police cruiser.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great point, John. Yeah, we have cops all over the place. Every regatta they have there on the drive, they have like a dozen cops out there. Right. Put one of them standing there and saying, hey, get out of here, to the sky. That's a great point, John. Thank you. Yeah, we have enough cops. They apparently didn't ask local law enforcement, as far as we know. The local law enforcement, the sheriff said, well, they deemed it not to that level. As soon as you hear this word deem it with the Secret Service, how's that going, Secret Service? And again, you're not going to defend because of the bravery of people to put their life on the line, will take a bullet. It's an outfit, let's face it, I believe, at least at the top. They don't care for Trump. They don't want Trump to be coming in. So when they say they're making a judgment based on their expertise, or whenever you hear the word protocol, that's a word we have to challenge, your protocol. You know what's a protocol? That they get 60 days to file a report on anything. Is that a good protocol? No. We should demand within 48 hours they have the preliminary report. Within a week, the next level of report. And then every week afterward, we get an update of what they've learned. Do you like my protocol or their 60-day protocol? The protocols again. All right, 855-839-1210, you get on board. Hey, what a great NFL weekend. And you have another chance to start the season with a big return on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place that first $5 bet on tonight's game. I'll take Barkley over rushing hours. I'll take Kyle Pitts anytime touchdown. Some people would say, take A.J. Brown over receiving yards. No, don't do that.
Well, he's not playing.
That's right. I'll take Goddard over receiving yards. Since I think they're going to cover Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown not playing, I don't have confidence in the other guy. Long story, take the tight end tonight for over receiving yards.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, okay. You have anything on tonight, Sam?
Yeah, I'd say Saquon Barkley over 18.5 receiving yards. I'm with you in the tight end line.
That's all they have for him, 18.5?
Very low, right? Seems very reasonable.
I think, I think they're going to try to block the run against him, but I don't think they're covering him out of the backfield. Man, you may want to bet that one straight up, just right alone.
Absolutely.
They know their stuff, but I got to go on FanDuel during the break. My God, 18.5 receiving yards. That's potentially 3 catches, maybe 2. Wow. Just visit FanDuel.com. Bet that one, /Dom to make every moment more this season. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey, a familiar name, but ask yourself, what's he done for you and your family? In his 18th year in Washington, what's Bob Casey got to show for it? He made sure COVID relief checks could go to convicted felons. You heard that right. Bob Casey made sure COVID checks went to convicted felons. When reasonable people tried to stop murderers and rapists from getting checks, Casey voted no. Even the Boston Marathon bomber ended up with a big fat check. Casey voted the party line instead of using some common sense. And with families struggling to pay the bills, Casey had this to say about throwing around their tax dollars.
Go big or go home.
Bob Casey went big. He botched it. And it's time for him to finally go home. Bob Casey is wrong for Pennsylvania. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts?
At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. Yesterday, Martha Raddatz, I'll play that in a little bit, did a fact check, finally, from ABC. And it appears that the Lindsay Davis woman has kind of given it up. They were not going to fact check Kamala Harris, no matter what she said. That appears to be the lurking operation here. And the fact check was, we don't have American military in combat in war zones, under fire anywhere in the world. I'll play it for you. So Raddatz doing that yesterday underlines, well, are these just two dopes in David Muir and the colleague there? Why didn't they fact check that and say, that's not true? We obviously do. I mean, it's front page news that we have that. It would be almost impossible to believe that. I still think Trump ought to do another debate. I've said that. We've talked about how doable it is, that he can do it. We don't know the impact of this almost assassination. Will there be any bounce coming out of this? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, because we want to win. Here is from the big interview on Action News here in Philadelphia with Brian Taff. Just a simple layup that you have to be able to answer, right? He asks straightforward questions, things like, how are you different than President Biden? All she said is, I'm younger. I'm a new generation of leaders. Why the word salad on this, though? In other words, she's not skillful even at this. I get it. She doesn't like these questions. I can't tell. No one knows. Was the deal, hey, she'll do the interview, but you can't follow up. Even if gently saying, I get it, opportunity economy, but how are you going to bring these prices down? If she had said, well, the rate of inflation has gone down, the next response is, yes, but that doesn't bring prices down. Are you saying prices won't come down? It's just, that's just that simple. This is the emptiness of Harris, that she's not even good at attempting to formulate an answer. She's not cunning at appearing to formulate an answer. She's just going to talk and say anything to try, and she filibustered talking about lawns. She grew up where people love their lawns. She doesn't get it. We're going to jump on something like that. Make it colorless. You know, make it when there's nothing there, like lawn. So you get your attention. Did it have good edging? You know, I hate the edging. I'm willing to do the lawn, but, bro, it's the edging that, oh, my God.
It's just such a pain in the butt.
Exactly. But that's all that she looks for. I want that edging. I just think it looks unnatural. Let a little bit of growth in there. All right, here's Brian Taft setting up the question, which should be like T-ball here, and the answer.
Affordable for people. Yeah. What are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid.
Oh, stop it right there. I saw a great narrative on Twitter. The guy's wife says to him, well, how come the lawn is an edge? And his answer to her is exactly, let me start with this. I grew up in a middle-class family. Use that. Just the woman that could be president does it. I grew up in a middle-class family. They liked their lawns there. We had barbecues there. Just keep talking. See how far that gets you. All right, we continue.
I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard.
Running out the clock.
She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, you know, construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience, you know, but a lot of people will relate to this. I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who were very proud of their lawn. And I was raised to believe and to know that all people deserve dignity. And that we as Americans have a beautiful character. We have ambitions and aspirations and dreams, but not everyone necessarily has access to the resources that can help them fuel those dreams and ambitions. So when I talk about building an opportunity economy, it is very much with the mind of investing in the ambitions and aspirations and the incredible work ethic of the American people, and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother, worked long hours. And
okay, Jim, I think people now have, and it just continued like that. There was never, and it's not skillfully done, is my point. I mean, all politicians are going to be evasive on something. I have a classic coming up when Martha Raddatz asked the surrogate, the governor of Massachusetts, why did Kamala Harris say that there's nobody in combat zones, nobody being shot at, first time in history here for Americans. Why did she say that? Well, Martha, I would ask, why did your two numbskull anchors there not say fact check, not say that's wrong? Did they not know? Could they have said, well, we think this is wrong. We're going to clarify that, and we'll give a ruling. They do that on Jeopardy all the time.
Yeah.
Well, the judges are looking at
Come
that.
back from the break, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was there in the, where I was, and they had 500 people there for ABC News. I'm sure over the Constitution Center, they had somebody there. Ken Jennings could have jumped in. Wrong. That's on ABC. The judges have ruled. No, there is. She would have gone nuts then. It would have blown the whole thing. But this, and no follow-up, I guess, was the ground rules.
What I found interesting about this is that, politicians can
Right.
just say word salad, all the time. But she's, quivering a couple times in this clip.
Oh, yeah, she is. She does
She's
that, yeah.
very nervous.
Shockingly. He's just a local anchor who this is the biggest interview potentially he's going to get.
Right.
And he was calm. I know him well. He's a good guy, very good guy.
Oh, yeah.
And the questions were straightforward. There was no gotcha.
Yeah.
And I suspect she had to know there's no follow-up allowed, but she did quiver several times.
She was doing a book report where
Right.
she didn't read the book, and you're just
Well
trying
put.
to filibuster.
Well put. Yeah, because in the past, she doesn't want to say Henry price fixing anymore. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to pivot. They always pivot toward junk fees and insulin and stuff like that. But he's asking specifically, how can you bring down prices in the grocery store? She's just empty. And on top of it, the interview was only about 10:22, I think. Maybe they went over 22 seconds. What is this thing all the time with limiting time to an extreme measure? I mean, this is the big second interview. You think she would give them a half hour. Nope. It was only 10:22. And 3 minute 54 of this, well, he asked the question. It's over 2 minutes. It's just on, hey, how are you going to lower prices?
Yeah, and they're talking about lawns and next door neighbor. And
Cooking with curry and all that stuff. Yeah. Also, the difference with Biden, she's a new generation of leaders. She couldn't distinguish, look, she's not going to go overboard. I get that. It's the president. It's your party. But she's going to say, well, maybe my point of emphasis might be a little bit more over here. His point of emphasis was over here. We'll get to the same place. You mean to say you're not ready for that? No, I don't think she had the questions in advance. I mean, come on. Do you need the question in advance? How are you going to lower prices? Well, I wasn't expecting that one. That's unfair. This wasn't, even a climate question. How are you going to? It wasn't complicated. It wasn't set up where you're boxed in. You're only boxed in because your policies are so bad and you're so incompetent. You couldn't answer this.
you can't answer a question about, the number one issue on people's minds.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Right, because they don't have an answer either, or even a policy that's going to unbake those prices. But it's also, even if they slightly did, she can't articulate it. So 855-839-1210. There's not much of a bump. The only thing I'll say from the debate, and I want to be clear on this with President Trump. We had O'Reilly on. It was brilliant stuff. It was a missed opportunity for Trump. Maybe that's the best way of putting it. Not that Harris scored unbelievably. I think it stopped the hemorrhaging of voters for her, though. But that Trump missed, is it just that's not what he wants to do? He missed the opportunity to call out on all these fact checkings, and he missed the opportunity. I thought it was a great idea. He wanted to talk about illegal immigration throughout the whole hour and a half. That's good. That's a good theme. O'Reilly had a brilliant thing. At the beginning, glad to be here tonight. I just want to take a moment and name one family murdered by these people coming over the border or raped. And I'm sure the vice president and everyone here would like to acknowledge that and join with me in that. I don't know what Harris would have done. I still think that works on any number of issues. Why not do that? And as far as the Springfield, Missouri, the media can't get enough, and I think Vance handled himself beautifully yesterday. 17 minutes. We're not going to play all that, of course. That was with was that with Raditz or with Welker here?
That was Welker.
It was Welker. Yeah, Welker is one of the worst, most partisan that we've ever seen in that role. 17 minutes, that's all that she talked about. That's all that she tried to puncture. He did say that he doesn't like what Laura Lomer said. And again, she is such a negative toward Trump. I get it. You don't like being told what to do. Get her out of here. Just get her out of there. But Vance, for 17 minutes, with all that's going on, that's all they talked about. So the media trying to race back to the issue of pets and what's going on with that, rather than the second attempted assassination. That's where they're racing today, hell-bent to do that. And again, I think that was a lost opportunity for Trump. I still think, and maybe the Trump people feel, look, this is dangerous territory with this cats and all stuff. We don't want to go there. What am I missing? Don't go there then. Go to Charleroi. Now, Henry and Dan were working all out. I mean, the behind the scenes trying to find these. You got to understand, people say, well, why don't you get this person on? They wanted to come on. It's just finding them. The town council of Charleroi, Pennsylvania, isn't even listed. You got to go hunting and pecking for these people. And they were great when they came on. And they talked about the same thing. They weren't bigoted. They talked about good Haitians there, but the town's being overwhelmed by this. Just like Springfield, Springfield, Ohio. The point being, this is unfair. The Taylor Swifts of the world. By the way, Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes, another home game yesterday, they did not sit in the same box again. And Taylor Swift, oh, we're the best of buddies. What a weasel. What an all-time weasel.
You think it went that deep?
Oh, yeah. It's the second time.
Interesting.
I mean, last year, that was a spectacle of spectacles. The only thing keeping Brittany Mahomes even of being allowed to go to the game is the greatest player in the game, arguably at some point could be the greatest in history. We'll see.
Right.
Is the quarterback.
That helps.
Otherwise, they're going to tell her to stay home. If this was like just a starter or something like that, she's sitting out in the boondocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, is Rashee Rice's family getting that treatment?
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, they don't like this. Is causing trouble with the big here with Taylor Swift. No, Henry, I think one time anything could be, but it's two times. Tonight, I think the both Bidens, there seems to be a lot of stuff around rush hour that people are going to be disturbed or come into the game. Will Dr. Jill Biden get booed tonight? I predict yes.
I mean, it's got to be a mix.
You think a mix?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Will there be any really overt cheering, or will it be more golf claps?
Yeah, I'd lean more towards the golf claps.
Now, if Joe Biden's there, though, they might cheer him. See, it's hard to figure out Eagles fans. I think a lot of them are still Democrats. Go figure it. Because they were raised in it. It's a union thing, something like that. How in the world would they be in sync with Harris and Walz? It just doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
But I think they'll clap for Biden because he gave it up to stop Trump.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Biden's done a good job of having good PR post-presidency here.
Yeah.
Like him, that Trump hat clip.
You think that was good?
I actually laughed at that. I thought that was funny.
It was funny, but I'm not sure what he was intending.
Yeah, no, neither do I. But I was like,
it
was good. It was like, he's not angry and yelling. It's funny.
Gotcha. All right, 855-839-1210. So we'll see tonight. Nick Foles being honored. By the way, Henry and I will talk about it after the show. Dan out this week. We got to come up with a side question tomorrow for what will be big story tonight. Nick Foles honored. You know, I still treasure that speaker series we did with him. It was the best that I remember. It was electric. And the guy is just like from Mayberry. He shows up, does that, and then goes off into the sunset. He's just the nicest guy imaginable. So if you have an angle, something coming, I'm not sure what it is. I was thinking good guy finishes first. I don't know how we do that, though. U.S. Attorney General responds to the second Trump shooting. FBI is continuing to investigate what appears to be an assassination attempt. Oh, my God. That's the best they have here. The feds aren't going to give you anything of this. They're just rolling along. There's nothing they want to find. They're not curious about anything. All right, so 855-839-1210. I'm coming to you on the side question. Scott Presler here around 1:30. A lot of numbers here breaking. Pennsylvania registration. He's got something on mail-in balloting, how effective it is in rural red Pennsylvania counties. Yeah, it's working. And it better work, because if it doesn't, you're not going to win Pennsylvania. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is push pound 1210. One quick question. What is it, in October? Anybody planning to go to the Trump rally outdoors again in Butler, Pennsylvania? Given what happened before, given the incompetency of the Secret Service, are you thinking about it? Sean Parnell will be on the show tomorrow. He was there the first time and was shot at. And we'll see what he says about that. All right, your calls are next. Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Sarah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Nick.
Thank you so much for the cookies. Doctor, if you want to narrate, I'm going to take a bite.
Get-O cookie.
Trump 2024, baby. And by the way, the Kamala ones that are blue that nobody wants to buy, they taste the same. It's just different color. Very good cookie. I'm going to go, because there's no perfect score. It's like figure skating, right? You can't give it a 10 out of 10. 8.7.
Wow.
Very good cookie. Good. So there you go. I'm going to swallow the rest of this cookie, and we'll take some calls. Let somebody else talk for a little bit.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Paid for by RFA cancellation. Are you feeling trapped by a timeshare you no longer want? You're not alone. Thousands of people are stuck paying for timeshares they hardly use. But here's the good news. There's a way out, and we're here to help. We specialize in legally canceling timeshares. With years of experience and a dedicated team, we've successfully helped countless clients just like you break free from those burdensome contracts. No more annual fees, no more maintenance costs, just freedom from your unwanted timeshare. Imagine what you could do with all that extra money and peace of mind, whether it's traveling to places you really want to go, saving for a new home, or just enjoying life without that financial burden hanging over your head. We make it possible, and it's easier than you think. Call us today at 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Our friendly experts will guide you through the process step by step, ensuring a smooth and stress-free experience. So call us now at 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061 and take the first step toward freedom. Again, 800-866-7061. 800-866-7061.
The back-to-school savings event is here at Hesser Chevrolet. Drive away in a 2024 Trax 2RS at $298 for 36 months. Or electrify your commute in a 2024 Equinox LS at $249 for 24 months. Enjoy top-rated customer service and unbeatable deals. Don't wait. These offers won't last. Experience the difference at Hesser Chevrolet, Philadelphia's trusted Chevy dealer. Check us out at HesserChevy.com. Call 267-343-9094 for details.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F-words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Miss any of the Dom Giordano program? Download and follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Scott Presler in about 6-7 minutes here. Side question today, though. 40th anniversary, Miami Vice. Hit us with a TV or film that location is almost like another character. Let's go to Joe in Bordentown. Hello, Joe. What do you have today?
Bookham Dano, Hawaii 5-0.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, Bookham Dano was that, and what's the guy's name? Is it Steve something? The toupee was tremendous. I always like that.
Can't say I ever saw the show, but I know the theme song, so immediately I know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. Location was very big with that, not just for the opening credits, but just the residue of the show was around that. Yeah, that was a big one. One of the first Hawaii crime type of things. Leslie, Bryn Mawr, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Leslie.
Aloha.
Aloha. There you go.
So on this second assassination attempt, when I was a kid, I always thought the Secret Service was like the cream of the crop, the best of the best. And it seems like that has gone away. And it, DE and I have certainly come up in these hearings that they are lowering the bar. And they should be, first of all, do you know what a Secret Service agent makes?
Probably over 100,000 at least, right?
Not even close. 64,000.
Well, that's a problem.
And then that is a problem. And then there's a couple that will go up to like maybe 90. But these men or women should be making a lot more than that. But they should also have qualifications that are beyond, like SEAL team type of training.
Well, look, I agree. Leslie, I see it a little bit. There's that. You're exactly right. But the problem here is that sheriff got it said, well, they deemed it not possible. In other words, they don't want to do it. They're not telling us, well, we don't have the resources because they could have put local law enforcement out there. They're saying Trump doesn't deserve it on that level, and they're going to follow that protocol come hell or high water.
Well, who determines that?
They do.
So the Secret Service doesn't answer to somebody.
Not that we know of.
Okay, well, then that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying all day, Leslie. In other words, we're not interfering with their tactics as far as on the scene or whatever. But if they don't see that Trump, due to the threat level and what it would do to the country, deserves the level of presidential or as close as possible to it, then they're in the wrong business. Get out.
Yeah. Do you think if this was happening to Harris, if she were the one, with these attempts, that it would be different?
Yes. They would find out a way to not make it obvious, but I think it would. Some of it's antagonism toward Trump. Some of it is institutional arrogance. They don't like the Republicans in the House, and they're saying there's no force. Now, Biden could jump in, but other than Biden, What's the force out there that could today make life tough for them? They're going to continue to do this, and what's going to happen is there will be some other difficulty down the road because they're supposed to take, I would argue this, that Trump is even beyond a sitting president due to what it would do to the country if the worst happens here.
I agree with you. Yes. Yeah, it's almost two scenarios. There's the, presidential scenario, but then there's also the divide in the country scenario that if something happens to Trump, it could get really ugly.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't that
really
be factored in? But they are sticking to this. And again, they got their back up because they've been embarrassed. And rather than be excellent, Leslie, the guy in question was cited over 12 hours hanging around the area of the golf course.
Yeah. And who saw him, Dom?
Various citizens have now reported that they saw him.
Joe Citizen saw this guy lingering around and was like, this guy's...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's the first rule of business, that, 8 to 10 hours in advance. I mean, you came into the event the other night with Don Jr. there. We had people having to go through metal detector background, et cetera. I had to go through it, even though I'm the host. And if there was some guy hanging around there for 8 to 10 hours, the state police or somebody else would have started talking to him.
Sure. Absolutely. Yes.
What's your location, Leslie?
Field of Dreams.
All right. That is a very good one coming up. He got quite a shout out from Don Trump Jr. the other night. The one and only Scott Presler has some numbers, mail-in balloting, voter registration, et cetera. And what's it like on the ground? How do people feel in Pennsylvania after this second attempt? Scott Presler is next here with Dom on Talk Radio 1210. How are your cholesterol levels, though? Managing healthy cholesterol is key to a strong heart and overall wellness. For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years, and with good reason. Their range of supplements is designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP at checkout to double your order in any cholesterol product for free. That's 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, use that code DROP. You buy one, you get one free on Rescue cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, at res-q.com.
Weather sponsored by Holland Floor Covering.
A tropical system will bring clouds and some showers to the Delaware Valley this week. Today, partly sunny, a bit cooler with a high around 79. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 64. And for Tuesday, still dry, mostly cloudy, a little bit more humid with a high 79.
Holland Floor Covering is the region's premier flooring dealer. Reimagine your space with new carpet, tile, or area rugs. It can add character and a welcoming experience to your home. Showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more at hollandfloor.com.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Gail Schlosser, and I started with Crash Proof Retirement in 2016.
What impressed me about the crash-proof events was that Phil presented us with hard facts. It's just impossible to have a steady income from the stock market. If the market crashes, I would lose most of my retirement money. With crash-proof retirement, I'll take money out to go on a cruise and I'll still have money in my accounts. With the crash-proof retirement system, I'm getting great returns, up to 12 to 15%, because I can take the money out and the interest keeps building money for me in my crash-proof accounts. And I have not had to pay any fees. My money is safe and it's not going to be dwindle away in the stock market. With the crash-proof retirement system, I've got peace of mind, so I can take all the cruises I want.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
He does a lot of parodies of different songs to see it all come together, which is awesome. And then the whole family and his daughter. The Carson Wentz hate definitely resonated. And I love the Frank Sinatra guy, and I thought the drummer was fabulous. Go Joe, go Birds. It was awesome.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Don Giordano show. Scott Presler is, the other night when we had Don Trump Jr. here, he went out of his way to talk about him. He asked me backstage about how did Pennsylvania look. And, he knows about Scott Presler. Those were some of the items from the other night. Scott Presler with us today with some great news. Hey, Scott, Don Trump Jr. all over it when I said, how do we win in Pennsylvania? He said, clone Scott Presler. Of course we think that.
Well, thank you so much for having me back, Dom. Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. just had me on his podcast, Triggered, the other day, and so thankful to have the support of the president's son. But he sees what we're doing in Pennsylvania, and I have a message to the Democrats. In the last 7 days, we just got data today. I have new, fresh numbers for you, Dom. Democrats added 9,000 voters statewide across Pennsylvania, while Republicans added 13,700. And that comes after the Taylor Swift endorsement. So I'm here to tell you that Scott Presler's team, Early Vote Action, earlyvoteaction.com, is out registering Taylor Swift in Pennsylvania.
All right, and I think you could do a better stage show, too. I'm just saying, based upon seeing you in person. There you go. So,
go ahead, Scott. I'm so sorry to interrupt. And the numbers, so we are now 233 voters away from flipping Luzerne County. But I have some very concerning information. I have heard a rumor that Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, the county that ran out of paper in 2022, that it has a backlog of thousands of voter registrations and thousands of mail-in ballots. Now, this is very concerning because the deadline to register to vote, Dom, is October 21st, and the deadline for a mail-in ballot is October 29th. But here's why this really concerns me, because mail-in ballots should be processed in the order that they are received. And I worry that if this Luzerne County Board of Elections, if this rumor is indeed true of a backlog of thousands of applications, that we won't be able to process those. And what if people receive their mail-in ballots late?
Yeah, well, we already have that. Scott, Linda Kearns, your alder, she's the Secretary of Defense, you're of Offense, sent me a long email today exactly about that point that's going to happen across the state. As far as it's not this week, it might take another week before people get their mail-in ballot to then send back.
Exactly. And so that's why I need you guys, if you're in Luzerne County, if you know anyone there, you need to call that office and put peaceful and public pressure on them to make sure that those applications are being processed. And I'm so sorry, I was distracted because I'm driving through Berks County, and there's this guy on a bicycle who literally is riding with a Trump 2024 sign on the side of the road while we're going through. And so pardon me, but it just shows you the amount of enthusiasm and energy that people are excited to support our president, and especially after, Dom, the second assassination attempt against our president, a second attempt on his life.
Yeah, Scott, the other good news, I follow your Twitter like 6 to 8 times a day. I go to see what you're up to. You report that 11 red rural counties, and both those things are important, we are out mail-in balloting the Democrats there. That is amazing.
Oh, this is huge. So, Republicans, it's been kind of a labor of love getting them on board with early voting and mail-in voting. This is critical. I looked at the data. A couple things. I want to give a shout-out to Pike and Wayne counties. Pike and Wayne are in Northeast Pennsylvania. They're a part of Democrat Biden-Kamala Harris supporter Matt Cartwright, and our candidate that we're going to defeat Democrat Cartwright with is Rob Bresnahan. Pike and Wayne have the most mail-in ballot requests per registered Republicans in the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And in third place is Bucks County, and then Montgomery County, and Allegheny County. And so we also have 11 counties that Republicans are outworking the Democrats in terms of mail-in voter registrations. And furthermore, a lot of those are from the Amish counties, like Juniata County, like Mifflin County. And so I'm here to tell you that what we've been doing for the last year, planting these seeds, especially with the Amish, we're now seeing all of that work translate into real, tangible results.
It's the Presler touch. It really is. The Amish, too. And I've told you I had them on before Bush Jr. won, Scott. The guy had to hold up a phone for the other guy to talk. And once the word got out there, they horse and buggy to the voting booths, but you've gotten them early on. So, Scott, what is it you want people to do, and where do they go to sign up and do it?
Well, you know what, Dom? Tomorrow is National Voter Registration Day. It's Scott Presler's holiday. So I need everyone, please print off voter registration applications for Pennsylvania. I want you to honor me by going and visiting your local gun store. Bring voter registration forms with you and leave them there. Ask the owner if you can put them out. Visit your local VFW or American Legion. Visit your local fraternity house if you're near a college. And just try to spend tomorrow registering one new voter, whether it's making sure someone's an active voter, whether they're at their current address, whether it's a brand new one. And you can also sign up at my organization, which is earlyvoteaction.com. And, Dom, we are approaching 40 staff across Pennsylvania.
Wow. Unbelievable, Scott. Well-deserved from Don Trump Jr., and behind the scenes, he spoke even more glowingly about exactly what you've done. You're on the radar screen all across the board. Keep it up. Tomorrow, we'll be thinking about you. How are you celebrating tomorrow? Probably getting up at 5 and registering more voters.
Well, I know the time is ticking, so I'll make it quick. You know what we're doing? We're going to Shoemakersville, the city that put out an ordinance that said that you can't have Trump signs.
That's right. Yeah, slow down, Scott. Tell people about this crazy town that you can't put signs up unless you get some guy 50 days in advance of something to say you can put them up.
Yeah, so Shoemakersville, which is in Berks County, Pennsylvania, they said they put out an ordinance that you can't have your First Amendment right to free political speech by putting out signs. And so you know what we did? There's a Sheetz in Shoemakersville, and there's an abandoned parking lot right next to it. And so tomorrow from 5 to 7, if you're near Berks County, you come out to that abandoned parking lot. I will meet you there. We will have Trump signs. I will get you registered to vote, and you will walk away with a beautiful Trump sign that you can put in your lawn and go trigger some liberals.
Thank you, Scott. Enjoy the day tomorrow, Scott. Thank you.
Let's go. All right, bye.
All right. I heard about this Shoemakerville. It sounds made up. And I think across Pennsylvania, these rural hamlets, the yard sign is a big deal. I remember in 2016, people starting to count them and say, look at this. This portends something is actually happening here. Coming up, Linda Kearns, who's the Secretary of Defense, sent me a long email this morning because there's an explanation why most counties are not sending out or could not send out the mail-in ballot today. Okay, I'll explain. I'll explain what that is about momentarily here on Talk Radio 1210, and it will give you a sense of where we are. All right, got a couple of other things in that. Your calls. Hit us with something that is a location that makes the film or the TV series. It's like another character. That's what we're looking for. Hey, I've told you for years about my great friend, dentist, board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, and the Bentz Dental Group. I've also told you about my experiences with Dr. Bentz, that it is second to none. And I've been to a lot of dentists over the years, the last 10 years with Dr. Bentz, as far as just developing a plan. You know, it's not sporadic for your own dental care and what you're going to do. I've talked about some of the transformations. I know it's no big deal to you maybe, but using an electric toothbrush, I went, I'm not going to do that. I am now. The water pick, special kind of water pick, all stuff that blends into exactly what Dr. Bentz has created. And when you go and you need something, to have your teeth fitted, new tooth put in, whatever it might be, you cannot beat the level of technology and John, the artisan who creates your teeth, along with that 3D printer. It is one stop for great dental care for the whole family. So the Bentz Dental Group, you find them at bentzdentalgroup.com. And if you're fearful of the dentist, even a little bit, this is exactly the place to go. Get that appointment today at 610-272-6949. The website, bentzdentalgroup.com. Tell them Dom G sent you, 610-272-6949.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Sarah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Nick.
Thank you so much for the cookies. Doctor, if you want to narrate, I'm going to take a bite.
Get a cookie.
Trump 2024, baby. And by the way, the common ones that are blue that nobody wants to buy, they taste the same. It's just different color. Very good cookie. I'm going to go, because there's no perfect score. It's like figure skating, right? You can't give it a 10 out of 10. 8.7.
Wow.
Very good cookie. Good. So there you go. I'm going to swallow the rest of this cookie and we'll take some calls. Let somebody else talk for a little bit.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire the largest injury firm in the world for your injury case? Let me count the ways. Your case will be handled by your lawyer, a paralegal, and a case manager who's always in the office for you when your lawyer's in court. There's also a 24-hour hotline if you ever have a question or a problem. We've collected over $20 billion and won a lot. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Tonight, 7:40 Phillies Brewers game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio Radio 1210 WPHT tonight.
Turn off the financial news and turn on a great retirement. Find out how with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
Our friend Judith Krupnik of Cherry Hill Volvo is the ZOA's Pillar of the Community Award recipient. A leading businesswoman and philanthropist, she's incredibly deserving of this honor. Congratulations! The ZOA's Night of Appreciation is Wednesday. Learn more at philly.zoa.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
All right, Tom Giordano's show. Welcome in, 855-839-1210. I just saw President Biden, who happens to be in Philadelphia, so I'm not sure why there'd be rush hour difficulties, whether he's leaving or not. He's here for something. Anyhow, he made comments about the second assassination attempt of President Trump. And he said, the acting director of the Secret Service is in Florida now. So let's slow down. And he's assessing whether any added steps might be taken for such a commendable job that the Secret Service did. We want to make sure. How about the basics? You're not going to get away with it. How about the basics? The basics is you got this maniac out there in the shrubbery or going back and forth to his car for 12 hours, reported today, prior to the shooting. How about the basics that this arrogant man leading the Secret Service and other arrogant leadership give President Trump the level of protection that a president of the United States gets? How about saying, we're going to talk about the protocols here, and it shouldn't be just the president of the United States ordinarily, and then the chain of office. That's the most important. You also have to take a look, if you're a leader, at a simple fact. This has happened twice on your watch. People are not believing everything is being done. There's conspiracy out there. And arguably, if the worst happened, what would the state of the country be? How about that? How about somebody asking him about that? Can you imagine? They're there assessing something as simple as putting local law enforcement on the perimeter of the golf course. They deem that not possible for the level that Trump should get. This is the bureaucratic arrogance. Now, some of it fueled by the fact it's Trump. Probably, yes. But some of it is fueled by their out of control. In what universe doesn't somebody step into this mayhem and say, of course you should have taken the simple precaution? Where's the infrared? Where are the drones? Where's any number of things? How does a guy hang around for 12 hours in one form or another and most likely would have been able to get off a shot? How do you do that and commend everybody? Commend them for what? Assess what? There's no expertise needed here. It's not about expertise. It's about a decision. Is it the end of the world to break your, quote, protocols? This is the same guy, the Secret Service head, who has the protocol, we'll get back to you we have 60 days. That's not written anywhere. They're making it up. Why 60 days? Why not 59 days? How do we let organizations like this get into this? This is what a new presidency has to do once and for all, rein in this group. It's not just the FBI. It's the Secret Service mentality. Common sense says, what would it hurt? Let's start with that question. What would it hurt to give Trump the protection level that a president gets in this? And give it to Harris, too. I'm okay if you give it to Vance and Walz. It's worth the money. Is it the money? No, we're not setting that precedent. How dare you? How dare you? These are not people that are bright and creative. So I'm telling you, yes, some of it could be antagonism toward Trump, but there's something more here. I just think it's this institutional nonsense. They'll determine it. They're an expert. We got this protocol. You shut up. And I think the American people have to say, no, that's it. Where are representatives to tell them? Well, I have some sound from some. No. There's nothing here that would be lost by giving Trump, and if you want to do it with Harris too, I'm fine. How much more money is it going to cost? Is it going to cost $5 million, $2 million? Give us a figure. Is that not worth it to get to the finish line with this election? If you say no, something's wrong with you. Something's really wrong. All right, coming up, an old friend joins us. And this is the guy I've raved about for years. Going into polling places in Philadelphia to actually take on the system in a legal manner. Do we have that sound, Henry? Been able to find it? It's from the Romney election. I'll describe it in a minute. Kevin Kelly is back with us. I've never seen somebody as good at what he does, and he is involved with election integrity in the place where we need it most. Maybe in the country, I would argue. I know of no place as arrogant and out of control for this stuff than Philadelphia. So Joe DeFelice, who formerly headed up the Republican Party here, is in charge, and Kevin's come out of retirement to join him for setting this up. Now, I'll just throw the ball to him, and you're going to hear him tell you what has to be done in order to have election integrity in Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania when we come up to the big day. All right, we got the side question going on. We'll take your calls, too, at 855-839-1210. Dom Giordano Show.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Shed that summer vacation weight by reaching out to NJ Diet. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days and without any shots. NJ Diet is all natural. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in Newark, Delaware, King of Prussia, and Cherry Hill, or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or schedule your consultation today by going to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-6641. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Have you heard all the talk about fresh pet food? Well, at Dogs and Cats Rule, when it comes to fresh, healthy ingredients, we lead the way. Hi, I'm George Parenti, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing better nutrition-wise than fresh food for your pet. Stop in to one of our 7 neighborhood locations and ask our expert staff how a real, fresh, meat-based diet can change your pet's overall health and well-being. Shop online at dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
New Jeeps from $269 a month at turnersbilljeep.com. Drive a new Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Compass, or Ram truck from $269 a month at turnersbilljeep.com. 2024 Compass, 4-cylinder auto, $269 a month, 7,500 miles, closed and leased, 39 months with $2,269 due at inception. Total payments $12,491. MSRP $35,340. VIN number RT175028. Residual $19,083. Tax and tax extra. Not valid with trade-in. $599 dock fee. Ends 9/7/24.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. We all know that it's not just, you heard Scott Presler, the Secretary of Offense, out there registering new voters. What about defense? Well, Linda Kearns, and it's great to have lawyers like Linda Kearns and hundreds of them, but I need guys with no necks, too. Now, this guy has a neck, but he's not a guy to fool around with. Kevin Kelly used to be one of our go-to guys. I think he moved to Arizona, Air Force veteran. And famously, he calls into the show 2012, the Romney election. It's over in Albany, and he's bringing this African-American Republican poll watcher in. They refused to let her in. They refused to seat her. To tell him, we're not going to do it. What do you do in a situation like that? Well, you get lawyers, but also it helps if you just say, we're not moving. We're not going to do this. I've played it endlessly. And I know people are thinking, why do we have to endure this in places like Philadelphia? Well, it's inbred. This is what they do. So Kevin's out of retirement, contacted me, I think it was last night, working with Joe DeFelice, the Trump campaign, on election integrity in Philadelphia. What does that mean? Kevin joins us here on Talk Radio 1210. I feel at least 2 percentage points better that you're back in the game, Kevin Kelly. Thanks for joining us.
Well, it's good to be back home, Tom. Thank you very much.
So what is it exactly, Joe DeFelice is, what exactly are you going to be doing in places like Philadelphia?
Well, to paint the 30,000 foot picture here, and my assertion about 2020 was they cheated. And I don't know if you remember, Don, but I called you in April of 2020 saying, something's not right. And particularly I lived in Arizona at the time, and I pointed out a couple of things. And it seemed preposterous at the time, but, at the very least, they controlled people's social media. They shut them down. It was just, at the very least. And at worst, it was much worse than that. And I believe it was much worse than that. Don't want to go down that rabbit hole other than to say they only needed to target a few precincts in a few states the whole election. Well, this time around, it really only has to be Pennsylvania. If you win Pennsylvania, you're seeing your next president, whoever wins Pennsylvania.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. So that's a burden, but I see it as this is our moment right here.
For sure. And that said, even more specifically, Philadelphia. If you can keep Philadelphia and the cheat, I would say, down to, sub, 350. I don't know what the real is, but keep it under control. And that's what Joe DeFelice was able to do in 2016. Joe subsequently went to Carson in 2020 and kind of left the rear flank unattended, and Joe's back. So we're getting the band back together. And what we really want to do is make sure that there is integrity in our elections in Philadelphia specifically, because if you can control the cheating in Philadelphia, which is where they're going to target their direct fire for sure, you will win Pennsylvania. You win Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is the next president.
So what do you do to doing that, Kevin? Now, the Trump campaign, and look, I love what the RNC has turned over, but in my gut instinct, they still haven't answered me. Are we going to have a poll watcher in every precinct in Philadelphia? And I know how difficult it is. It's hand-to-hand combat at times. What is it that you have to do to control this?
Well, we do need bodies on the street and bodies poll watching, because when the cow play, the mouse will play, and in Philadelphia they've been playing, they've been breaking the rules for 80 plus years. I won't go into not having a viable Republican Party in Philly forever and all that nonsense, but other than to say, I think people realize this could be, and it's a cliche, but this time I don't think it is, the most important election in American history. We could go in a direction that is bad for your kids, bad for our country, and bad for the world. That being said, people need to not play armchair quarterback anymore and not spiral off into ideological purity. It's a binary election. You're voting for freedom or you're voting for much worse, communism, socialism. So I would say go to protectthevote.com, or if you're an attorney, I think it's lawyerprotectthevote.com and lawyersprotectthevote.com. Sorry. Sign up, come out in Philadelphia and be a poll watcher. We want to fill every seat, every polling place. But oddly, it's not the same polling places we were worried about before in the primarily African-American. We think we're going to do really well in the African-American communities. It's the Germantowns. It's the Rittenhouse Squares. It's the, what I'll say, privileged white liberal vote, where we think that they have a moral imperative to cheat, and they're doing a greater good keeping Hitler out of the White House. So there's a little bit more.
That's interesting. But I mean, what can they do? We hear this all the time. You and Joe DeFelice are as expert as I can come with this. What is it they can do to cheat? Is it the chain of custody? Is it what? I mean, what could they possibly do? That's what we hear from NBC and CBS and all those.
It's kind of all of the above. It's chain of custody. It's fraudulent voters. Now it's, illegal voting. I mean, the reason, if you have a party that's flooded the zone with illegal aliens, telling them that they can vote, there's going to be a number of folks who can do that. So just kind of keeping that, let them know that we're watching. You're not going to be alone and afraid up at 10th and Shoe. Trust me. You're going to have backup upon backup upon backup. We are sending the message early that if you cheat in the regular ways that they've cheated, and Dom, I've had guns pulled on me, gotten kicked out, poll watchers kicked out, all of it, all the nonsense over all the years. So I am impervious to all that BS. You will have backup. You will have legal backup. You will have muscle backup. No one's going to be able to mess with you, but you have to get involved. You have to show up. You have to sit down and watch the polls, and we have to fill every seat, or else they will take that opportunity.
Kevin, I like what you said, too. The people that see this as an imperative, that they're saving the country, are in those areas that you talked about. I could see that definitively, and they have to realize, even if it's one vote or you think it's one vote or whatever you're telling us, it doesn't matter. Full penalty of the law is what's necessary here.
That's right. And the other thing is, Dom, I was driving through Montgomery County, and I saw something that really made me optimistic. It was a Trump on top, Vance underneath, and RFK Jr.'s name underneath that on a sign, which is obviously being mass produced. There's very few undecideds, but a lot of people who are traditional Democrats know the country is moving in the wrong way. But that herd mentality, that team mentality, that tribe mentality of being a committed Democrat, it's hard to shit.
Yeah,
give them the opportunity.
I like the RFK part. Let's talk. I was talking, Kevin, tonight, like Eagles football fans. I see a lot of these people as union guys, and I know, that are very patriotic. But what do we have to do? I can't count upon them in the clutch, even though they would be revolted by Harris and wokeism and all, to not go in there and still vote Democrat.
I kind of disagree. I think the veil has been lifted from their eyes.
Okay.
And it's affecting them personally. I always go to my buddies who, they make whatever, 70, 80 grand a year. They got kids. They're up against it like never before, Don. Inflation is real, and it's touching them in a very personal way. And they are stretched so tight as to be, not sleeping at night. So I think we have them. And to the extent we don't, they're on a razor's edge of voting for Trump if they were uncommitted before. And I know a lot of these guys, and they're right there. So if they know that they're not alone, they're going to walk into that polling place, and for the first time ever, probably in some of these precincts, they're going to see who's representing Donald Trump, and it's not just, a love fest of Marxists. They're going to feel okay about walking in there, but pulling, what they think is for the first time might be a Republican.
That is a great point. That's exactly right. And that's why the yard signs are so important. And that's a good observation, too, with RFK's name in there. It's a Kennedy. I mean, Bob Casey's asleep 3/4 of the time. He's gotten elected every time just because of the father who died, in 1998 or 1997? So, yeah, it helps.
Habits are hard to break. And the other thing, Dom, is under Lincoln, they had a team of rivals, right? I love the fact that Trump is pulling together RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek. These are people who give a traditional Democrat the safety to say, what, I think my viewpoint is going to be represented. And I did see what they did to Bobby Kennedy. And Donald Trump being, shot at twice now, and it disappears quicker than the dog bites man story on the evening news. They see it. And you just got to kind of snap your fingers and shoot out of it and say, look, new game, new day. The Republican Party has now become whatever you loved about the Democrat Party in the past, and the Democratic Party has become the party of big war, big pharma, big food, big money, endless wars, and they just need to be told it's okay to vote the other way.
Exactly. ProtectTheVote.com. Phil says, say hello to Joe for me and keep me in the loop. Text me and tell me whatever you want to come on and talk about. Our people need to know this, that it's not hopeless. They can't just do whatever they want, particularly in Philadelphia.
Yeah. You do. See you, bud.
Thank you, Kevin. All right. I'll play that tomorrow at Henry. I have an idea where we might find it, but this is a guy on the front lines, and so is Joe DeFelice. Both of them, you heard in 2016 what they accomplished here. Just a good sign. Kamala Harris is talking to the Teamsters today. They haven't endorsed yet. I don't know that they'll endorse Trump, but if they just don't endorse at all, that's a good thing. It's another sign. Everybody said, too, it's the places that just think, and that's why we saw this attempted assassination over the weekend again. We got to stop Hitler. You'll be celebrated for it. A little cheating, a little doing whatever around the edges. Every vote counts here. Well, I want you to know I am impressed. Look, the RNC with Laura Trump and Whatley have been great. But Scott Presler, Linda Kearns, and now Kevin Kelly, and Joe DeFelice. We got some real players in it this time in Pennsylvania. And I just want you to see that each day, that you don't give up hope and think, look at what we're up against. They're always going to win. No, Trump did win Pennsylvania in 2016. And it's even stronger this time around, the organization and the attempt to push back on this stuff. So we'll have Kevin on every once in a while to give you an update on what they're doing, particularly in Philadelphia. Because, look, I love Whatley, Lara Trump, but I don't think they understand what we're talking about here in Philadelphia. You may have grown up, you know what we're talking about, right? And guys like Kevin Kelly know exactly what we're talking about in Philadelphia. It's the belly of the beast. And it's in the most important states, arguably in our history, of what's going to happen here. I'd love to get your reaction to that, 855-839-1210. But first, it is time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
That's right. And today we're playing for a copy of Letters to Trump. Ro and I went to the Shore yesterday, and on the ride down, we were looking through because it's a huge book, coffee table book. Some of the people who idealized Trump before he ran for office said Alec Baldwin. Oh, my God. The Oprah one, the Bob Hope one. Just incredible. Henry, what do you have today?
Yeah, so in honor of our side question today, obviously it being the 40-year anniversary of Miami Vice debuting, one iconic scene from Miami Vice featured the song In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Yep.
I'm going to play that song, but it's going to be a cover of that song. I want the band who sings the cover. All right?
I love that song. I love Phil Collins, by the way. You probably wouldn't have guessed that, but yeah. Forever Young.
I can see it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're looking for who's covering the song.
Correct.
A Dan tactic on day one.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, exactly. Yeah. At least not in Portuguese. Here we go.
No, not that far.
Okay.
Hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. No stranger to you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord.
I got to say, Henry, brutal cover. Most of them are. No offense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the idea. My God.
They took their own personal spin on this.
Oh,
one.
you can't do the song in this. Oh, my goodness. Oh,
how'd you like that
song.
drum solo?
All right. Tell us who is covering at Classic. That's a great choice, too. I forgot that was one of the themes. 855-839-1210. Hit us with that. We'll send you this gigantic, huge Trump coffee table book. 855-839-1210. Jump in now.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Sarah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Nick.
Thank you so much for the cookies. Doctor, if you want to narrate, I'm going to take a bite.
Get a cookie.
Trump 2024, baby. And by the way, the Kamala ones that are blue that nobody wants to buy, they taste the same. It's just different color. Very good cookie. I'm going to go, because there's no perfect score. It's like figure skating, right? You can't give it a 10 out of 10. 8.7.
Wow.
Very good cookie. Good. So there you go. I'm going to swallow the rest of this cookie and we'll take some calls. Let somebody else talk for a little bit.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Join us to conquer childhood cancer on Sunday, September 29th for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia's Parkway Run and Walk, presented by Citadel Credit Union. All funds raised support CHOPS Cancer Center. Learn more and register today at parkway.chop.edu.
The sensational Sarah McLachlan, live in Atlantic City, celebrating 30 years of fumbling towards ecstasy. Performing the album in its entirety, plus her greatest hits, for one incredible night. With special guest, Tiny Habits. Live at Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa. Friday, October 25th. Get tickets now at theborgata.com.
You may be ready for retirement, but is your money? Learn how to make your money work overtime. Tune in to The Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen. Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It's not just about watching the game, it's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it, it's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket, follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. 1210 WPHT.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That's exactly right. So 40th anniversary, Miami Vice. Henry chooses one of the songs that's consistent with that. Let's hear it again and tell us who is covering this song.
Hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. No stranger to you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, Lord.
Can you imagine being this band? Yeah, let's cover this. We ought to be charged. You, me, and Dan are saying, no, you cannot cover this no matter what. All right, so let's go to playing for the Trump book, Letters to Trump. Let's go to AJ and Bucks. AJ, who's covering that song?
Well, I got to say my best guess is it sounds like Bare Naked Ladies.
That is beautifully done, yes. I don't know much about them. I know of them, Henry, but my God.
Yeah, not exactly the one you'd want covering this song. No?
No, yeah.
Need a little more serious tone.
Yeah, it's like...
they're fun. They're whimsical.
It's like... who was it that... Taylor Swift covering the great Eminem. We play that all the time, but it's hard to believe.
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
that's,
brutal.
Can't do it.
Yeah. All right, so AJ's the winner. Nicely played. We'll have another one tomorrow for you. 855-839-1210. The side question today, hit us with some location that became like a character in a movie or TV, just like Miami did, Miami area for. I'm looking at these guys now with all these trees roped off. It would have helped that the Secret Service just had somebody walking up and down. They would have seen this nut for 12 hours engaged in this. My goodness. It's more arrogance than just incompetency, too, though. They're only going to provide, they deemed it not possible to have that level. They don't like it because that level would be on the presidential level. Trump doesn't deserve that. Now, we're a little unclear. Does the VP get that? Because I guess their argument is, well, there's a change in office. You know, somebody, it matters for the country. If that's the argument, I want to know what precedent would it set if you really protected Trump that you think is out of bounds. It's going to cause difficulty. Robert in Ben Salem, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert, afternoon.
Hi, Dom. It's good to talk to you today. I'm not going to comment too much on the other assassination attempt because I got to be honest, it's starting to piss me off.
Right.
But I just have a message to the people out there who aren't Democrat, who are holding their nose at Trump. Okay, we're in a war. If you don't see that now, okay, well, you probably do see that now, but you don't care. And if that's the case, just go Democrat and get it over with so that we know who we're fighting. But if you don't know, okay, because you watch the media, and this hatred of Trump is purely media-driven. It's not based on any factual reality, okay? If you don't see it, then you are in the land of Oz, which, coincidentally, is the answer to the side question. I'm going to go with Oz. It's actually a twofer, Dom, because from the movie Wizard of Oz and from the HBO special Oz, in each place it kind of had a life of its own.
Oh, without a doubt. And you know, in Oz, which is a rough watch, but I think the HBO, great show, it's that thing that they have them walking around the maze all the time.
Right.
Really
Well,
jumps.
it's kind of two different dynamics because the one in Oz is based on a raw reality, and the Wizard of Oz, when you're a kid, it's magical, but when you're an adult, it kind of looks like a acid trip, to be honest with you. But both of them have a character of their own, and I think there's a lot of good answers today. But I appreciate it, and great show, and I'll talk to you later. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, that is so we're looking for something, location, kind of like Miami Vice was dependent on that. All right. I started to say this, and we got Kevin Kelly on. Linda Kern sent me an email saying, what's happened here in Pennsylvania? Don't get disturbed. This woman, Claudia de la Cruz, for the Socialism and Liberation Party, was trying to get on the ballot. The Supreme Court just made a decision. She will not be on the ballot. So no one knew until Friday exactly who would be on the ballot, so it'd be difficult, if not impossible, for counties to start mailing mail-in ballots on Monday, today, September 16th. There's actually a section of the Secretary of State website that tracks the litigation. So, Linda writes, I just wanted to make sure you clarify so voters are not worried because the mail-in ballots are not ready. So as soon as they are printed, they go out. Nothing will happen on September 16th. It's looking more like Monday, September 23rd. Voters can still request a mail-in ballot. When they're ready, there'll be a lot of publicity about it, and I think I will email you to tell you. Okay, there you go. So I'll keep that. If you're worried I'm not getting it, it didn't come yet, that's the reason behind the scenes. We're on top of it. Also, something to celebrate. When the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, a rogue renegade court in 2020, you know that, you remember that, right? They ruled late on Friday. They threw out a lower court ruling. I remember we were at Mulligan's when we got it from this Commonwealth Court, saying, undated, misstated Pennsylvania ballot should count. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court said no. Thousands of undated and wrongly dated mail-in ballots expected to be cast in the November election could be thrown out after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned the lower court. 4-3 ruling. They threw out the earlier decision by the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court. They didn't engage on that. The reversal says that these mail-in ballots would not be counted. Separate legal challenges before a federal judge in Western Pennsylvania and the U.S. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's going to have to get involved this time around much earlier than they ever did the last time. So it looks to me like these won't count. Now, what's the net impact of that? The net impact could be, I'll set the over and under at 5,000 to 10,000 votes. just on this one act right there. And most of those votes, I believe, or the lion's share, would be votes for Harris. So what you're seeing here is a ruling that could go a long way to determining who wins Pennsylvania. You just heard a guy like Kevin Kelly, who's great on the ground, really plugged in with the Trump campaign. I believe it. Whoever wins Pennsylvania wins the presidency. That's what it's coming down to. So a question for you. Do you see that as a burden, or are you thrilled? And I talked to a guy in the spin room the other night. His father is Hugh Hewitt, big national talk show host. This guy's the chief of staff or deputy chief of staff for Mike Waltz, the congressman from Florida. And he said, this is the most important radio station in the country now. He tells that to any one of these big guests that we're bringing on. Why? Because we have the listeners. We have the driving force to put this over the top. And if that happens, Pennsylvania goes Trump. He's going to be president. All these other things are in play. We get that, including this attempted assassination over the weekend. But you see that as a burden, or are you thrilled with that? That right here, right now, that's the way I look at it. Wow. Just think about that. You know, we've talked about encouraging other people that you think are maybe not people that vote all the time, but you think they get it, particularly after what we've seen this weekend. Another attempted assassination, the ineffectual Secret Service. Biden in Philadelphia saying they're headed down. He knows the acting secretary is in Florida to assess what else could they have done. A stupid maniac for 12 hours prowling back and forth in the shrubbery. What else could you have done? What are you talking about? Now, I'm not saying you want to make a big deal that everybody in the world knows that Trump is playing golf there on Sunday. But my goodness, isn't it basic police work to have some cars driving up and down, just routine patrol, looking around, maybe a little bit more than usual, just to make sure no one's hiding there? How about infrared? How about drones? You don't put up a billboard, Trump coming here. And once he is there, you go all out to be taking a look at this. Local law enforcement would have cooperated. Why didn't you do that? And the quote today from the sheriff was, the Secret Service deemed it not possible to be doing this. That would be doing it on a level that Biden would get. Notice what they're doing here. They don't want Trump to have that level. Some of it is anti-Trump. Some of it is they're just crazy. We have people making these decisions that don't get what's going on here. And they're arrogantly continuing because no branch of government either can or will order them to do something different. This is the same thing with the RFK Jr. Now, that was on Trump. That was on Biden in revenge more than anything. They ought to be ordered to give presidential treatment to Trump. Yeah, oh, you're just saying that because it's Trump. I'm looking at the country. If you care about the country, what would the objection be to giving that level of coverage to Trump? And I assume Harris is getting it. She should. If you want to extend it to the vice presidents, I don't think it's that costly versus the outcome of this whole thing. Why is this so hard to understand? 855-839-1210. They're assessing the situation. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210 and we'll get you in. You know, I always like reminding you about batteries plus bulbs in Mount Laurel and Northfield. Roy, the ultimate in great customer service and great knowledge with anything that's technical to fix it. Their motto, they power it, the batteries plus bulbs. They light it, of course, and they fix it every time. They're going to go all out. But right now, they need some help. They're looking for more people to help service all the people we're sending them. A handy do-it-yourselfer would be ideal. Great low-pressure part-time job. Customer service is the key, maybe some skill in these fields. And if you're willing to do what it takes to help, simple it. You need to talk to Roy. Be part of the team. Give them a call now at 856-638-0778. 856-638-0778. Batteries plus bulbs. They're in Mount Laurel and Northfield. Give them a call.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A tropical system will bring clouds and some showers to the Delaware Valley this week. Today, partly sunny, a bit cooler with a high around 79. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 64. And for Tuesday, still dry, mostly cloudy, a little bit more humid with a high 79.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oops.
Ever had your singing lessons cut short by icy water?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill.
La 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 la.
Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
The following is a paid commercial message.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
Tonight, 7:40 Phillies Brewers game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT tonight.
The exclusive crash-proof retirement system is tried and true, outperforming the market through the worst of economic times, as it did for crash-proof consumer Larry Kipp. In 2007, Mr. Kipp's crash-proof system earned 15.8% interest, outperforming the S&P. When the crash of '08 struck and the market dropped over 37%, his crash-proof system lost nothing. Mr. Kipp did not have to recover from the crash. His system credited 10.8% interest permanently to his account, as others tried to recoup what they already had.
People talking about all the money that they lost, and I could sit there and say, well, I didn't lose any. I knew that I couldn't lose principal, and so when the crash came, I knew my money was safe. I would say that there is a crash-proof retirement. I have proof of it.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, it is Dom time, 855-839-1210, and headline on Fox, growing calls to boost Trump's protection. I told you the argument they're making. They don't like the fact that this would be on a presidential level. That's just the sacred ground. They're not analyzing the threat level and the consequence of this. And they don't like Trump on top of it. And they don't like those pesky Republicans in Congress telling them what to do. They are out of control. And their comments, the sheriff, thank God that one sheriff, let's play that sheriff again. This is the sheriff in Florida who talked a little bit about what went on here. And thank God for that. The idea that somehow or another the Secret Service is taking, they deem this not to be possible. Jim, do you remember that one?
Yeah, it's 17.
17. All right, cut 17. Thank you, Henry.
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery. So when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right? And at this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. But because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So I would imagine that the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter. But the Secret Service did exactly what they should have done. They provided exactly what the protection should have been, and their agent did a fantastic job.
He's fine till the end. And I'm screaming, no, Sheriff, we get you on what expertise you are in law enforcement. You know what? I'm a problem solver here, and I see what the problem is, and all the bureaucracy in the world is not going to change. They deem that not possible. Not possible to have a few of these local cops go up and down and take a look out there. No, what they're deeming it is, that's presidential level. We're not going to do it. That's all that it comes down to. It is possible. You just said it, Sheriff. I'm not commending them. That's ridiculous. That's what we're dealing with. By the way, I just saw this a moment ago. There's some wiggle room happening here where Kamala Harris might be moving around on the transgender position she's taken. Now, she didn't get asked in the debate, surprise, surprise, about the fact that when she ran for president the first time, multiple interviews, we played them, she said yes. Illegal migrants, illegal immigrants, they ought to be eligible. Prisoners for so-called gender-affirming care, including surgeries. Why was she not asked? You know why. And her spokesperson, when they usually say she's changed her position on fracking, this, that, or the other, she's evolved, they don't say it on this. But today now, you're starting to see some wiggle room. What that tells me is they realize this is a vulnerability. The Trump people should have exploited it more, as we were talking about last week. Now we'll see if she's allowed to pivot, that suddenly she's learned something different, and she's even backpedaling on this. What it was is she was trying to get away with it. She realizes the mob on her side is going to have a lot of trouble if she comes out and says this is ridiculous stuff, these surgeries, etc. They'll let you get away with some other things. They intuit this is not one of them. So we'll see how far she goes. This is just starting now, and by tomorrow, maybe we'll have more detail on it to see exactly where she goes with it. All right, let's go to Joe in Exton, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe, welcome back.
Yes, hello, Dom, and good afternoon. In the film French Connection, the director uses the scenes of New York City as background scenery. And these scenes are so stunning that they begin to assume a role of their own, overshadowing that of Gene Hackman as principal character.
You can make that argument. What's Joe? I have my own choice. It should be an obvious one, and that's the chase under the elevators. I mean, that
exactly.
is, yeah.
Exactly. That chase scene. They show Gene Hackman going berserk, but they also show scenes of the subway above him.
Yes, exactly right, Joe. Thank you. That's the all-time greatest chase scene. It's one of my top 10 scenes in film. Hackman plays that incredibly.
I still haven't seen that movie. It's definitely on my list. It's on my list, though.
Just Google to see the chase scene. That'll get you to see the whole movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Hackman is a different type of cop. Roy Schneider is in there, too. Both are incredible, but there are many other scenes in there of New York City. That scene, though, and the exhaustion at the end the damage that he's done, and gets out of the car still to give chase to the guy. Let's see. Let's go to Dave in Levittown on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Dom.
Hi.
You know, my understanding is the Board of Elections can't legally open the sealed mail-in ballots until Election Day.
Yeah.
Which makes it almost impossible to cross-check millions of mail-ins for illegal immigrants. I mean, we can have all the poll watchers in the world, but there's just not enough time, and you need to cross-check with the Homeland Security database or wherever it is. I mean, we're never going to have a clean election unless we can do it instantly. Once the election's over, it's almost impossible. I mean, my understanding is only a handful of states have cleaned the rolls for illegal immigrants. So,
well, I would tell you this, that's underway, Dave. I mean, but my answer to you is, okay, so what are you saying then?
Well, we have to find a way to instantly cross-check illegal sealed mail-in ballots. I mean, I think they can start to open them at 7 a.m. on Election Day.
Yes.
And, I mean, how do you cross-check for signatures, for Social Security numbers? I mean, you can do it, but I just can't see how they can cross-check millions of them across Pennsylvania.
All right, I will ask Linda Kearns this. Every time something comes up, I just don't want people to believe that it's impossible to stop this. I think we prove every day that that's not the case. All right, so I take the point. Next time we have her on, we'll get into this also. And I know there's pushback trying to get pressure on them to put up signs on the day of voting that you can't be here illegally and vote. They refuse to do that. What does that tell you? This is what we're up against. Acknowledged. I am so much happier, though, where we are now versus in 2020. And if you heard Scott Presler, he made the point that 11 rural red counties are beating the Democrats when it comes to mail-in balloting. So I'm seeing all kinds of good signs. I'm not Pollyanna. It's the day of the election, too, in Philadelphia, where it's going to be mayhem. But much better than previously. So watching Fox, we're starting to see some seedlings here of the campaign saying that maybe they're going to move away from this inmate gender surgery, illegal immigrant gender surgery. We'll watch it. We'll tell you. All right. It is the lightning round next. This day, Miami Vice, 40 years ago, anniversary. Hit us with a location that actually becomes like a character in a film or a TV show. We've gotten some great ones. We'll decide a winner. We'll tell you what's on the show tomorrow. 855-839-1210.
High school football is back. High school football is back. And so is the Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Join Daryl Dobis, James Bailey, and Matt Dents. Friday nights 10 till midnight. For a rundown of all the big high school games in the region and expert analysis. The Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Friday night at 10. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Due at inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees, but in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Hey, Dawn here. When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes, in just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without all the hassle. Trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com. kitchenmagic.com. Let's cook up something extraordinary. Tell them Dawn sent you.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at Archbishop Wood High School in Warminster, Saturday, September 28th. Come early and meet Ike Reese. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Do you have shoeboxes full of photos? Today only, radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, LegacyBox also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or Grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
You're not going to want to miss this. You're not going to want to miss this. Listen to Kale and Company Thursday morning at 8:30 for a special announcement from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
Yes, that is right. The lightning round. Location. That's what we're looking for. The lightning round is brought to you every day by Cherry Hill Volvo. Enjoy back-to-school savings on a 36-month lease of a 2024 front-wheel drive S60 for only $369 per month. Down payment, registration fee, and taxes due at inception. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. All right, let's go to Bill in Montco. Bill, what's yours?
Hey, Dom, where the place is a character like no other, Boardwalk Empire. The series on HBO with Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, that is a good choice. By the way, a cop friend source said it's not just the city of Baltimore, it's the projects, for example, where a character in The Wire, second to none, and Jimmy's Greek Diner. But I think where the cops, the watering hole for the cops, was a pretty good situation there, too.
I mean, the whole second season, with the docks and everything.
Oh, that was, yeah, absolutely. Ziggy, wow. Let's go to Bruce in the Northeast. Bruce, what's yours?
Hey, Doc, you could tell that would-be assassin was an amateur. Like a professional would have camouflaged the barrel of the rifle with vegetation. It's just a thought.
Thank God. Yep, thank God.
The movie title is Atlantic City. It was starring Burt Lancaster. and it captured a lot of the old pre-casino era. It was really good.
Burt Lancaster's saying, I tell you, the ocean smelled differently then. I wish I had the line. We'll play it tomorrow, Bruce. He's walking along with a girl, and the ocean was different.
Right?
Yeah, Susan Sarandon. The ocean was different. Yeah. Thank you. That's the nostalgia of it. Well, Atlantic City was different. If you can imagine people on the boardwalk putting on furs and stuff like that, and walking up and down. I mean, Atlantic City.
Yeah. Couldn't think of that now. Not even close.
If you Google it, you'll see pictures of it. The Earl of Tacony. Earl, good afternoon. What's yours?
Good afternoon. I would say any film by David Lean. Now, you poo-poo my favorite film, so I'm going to go Lawrence of Arabia. Now, there are two things in particular about Lawrence of Arabia. First off, all the action moves from left to right across the screen, the entire film, to simulate a journey. But David Lean goes with the deep focus and the wide shots. Like one of the opening scenes where they're in the middle of the desert. It's open. There's nothing there. You see the heat rising, and a tiny little dot appears on the horizon, and the dot gets bigger and bigger, and you don't know what it is. And it turns out it's Omar Sharif riding his camel toward the well and taking a scene that has absolutely no features whatsoever and turn it into a scene of mystery and suspense.
Beautifully put. All right, Henry, give me some of the contenders today. This was a good one.
Well, I really liked Earl's answer right there.
Okay.
I think Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, that whole movie's stunning. The desert shots, scene after scene, shot after shot. I think that's got to be a player. I like Robert and Ben Salem's answer, too, of The Land of Oz.
Okay.
I mean, it's nice and fantastical. And I feel like you got up for the French Connection, so I'll have to put that in there as well. Joe of Exton.
Okay. Jim, do you have quickly anybody you like today out of those three? Nothing. Okay, Jim's busy with something there. Okay. All right, I'm going to say, let's go with the Earl of Tacony here with Lawrence of Arabia.
I like it.
Nick Foles coming to town tonight. I think the Bidens are here, too. Oh, my God. Hit me on Twitter at DomShow1210, at DomShow1210, or send an email. We're looking for, Henry and I will confer. Might do a Nick Foles question tomorrow simply because of what a great guy this guy is and what he accomplishes. Almost hard to believe. It was maybe something that was magical. You still don't believe that it happened, that this guy could come in. That's maybe something we'll look forward to. And we'll have Sean Parnell on tomorrow. He was there in Butler and was shot at, Captain Parnell. We'll ask him about this attempted assassination and also how is mail-in balloting going in Pennsylvania. Great stuff today. Thanks for listening as always. Rich Cioli is next. He's got 4 big hours this afternoon. All that happening on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Pending approved credit. Offers cannot be combined. Excludes taxes and tax.
Take an e-car